I'm a cartoon?
Meh. What's up, Doc?
For whatever rhyme or reason or logic, we're getting a second Space Jam movie. The first movie focused on Michael Jordan and became not only a box office hit, but a piece of pop culture history. Michael Jordan even talked about it in his acceptance speech for the Basketball Hall of Fame. And it's either a movie you love or a movie you hate, but most love it. Fast forward to now, and LeBron James is stepping up to do a sequel via Space Jam: A New Legacy. It's gonna have a drastically different plot, and if the trailer is anything to go by, a drastically different feel. So given that, allow us to show you the Space Jam 2 trailer, 8 Things You Missed. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. 8. Family drama. A key element of Space Jam: A New Legacy is that of the family drama that LeBron James goes through with his son, his youngest son Dom, which for the record is not the actual name for one of his kids, nor any of his actual family in the film, wants to live his own life. But LeBron feels that he has the potential to be a great basketball player like him and wants to help him do just that. So while at Warner Brothers Studios, apparently, Dom runs off into a server room and gets taken into a quote-unquote space where all the Warner Bros. Properties are together. Which brings us back to LeBron, because now he's on the quest to get his son back, and that won't be easy. But he knows that he's got to do it because no price is too high to get his family back. LeBron James noted that this wasn't just about a basketball game. It was about a family. And the trailer seems to conform to that notion. How well it actually goes is questionable at present, as this is just the first trailer for the film, but no doubt some will appreciate the more personal touch with this movie.
Basketball camp is next weekend. You got amazing potential on the court.
7. Algorithm. Let's head now to the villain of the story, whom everyone's talking about. Don Cheadle is set to play Algorithm, an evil computer algorithm, get it? Algorithm, okay. That for some reason goes and kidnaps Dom and then gets LeBron as well, and then subsequently challenges LeBron James, of course, to a basketball game to get Dom back, if he can. There's still a lot we don't know about Algorithm, but it's clear that he's pretty much the god of the cyberverse, or server room as he refers to it. He's untouchable, as we can see through LeBron trying to grab him, as well as how he has the power to send him to other realms, create various elements like the basketball court and the audience, and so on and so forth. Fans really loved how the trailer showed off Cheadle's character, and some honestly think that he might be the highlight of the movie, which is a fair thing to say because the movie is only so good as the villains. Which brings us to 6. The Goon Squad. If you recall the first Space Jam, and to be honest, you recall it, the whole premise was about aliens coming down and getting imbued with the power of the NBA's finest at the time in order to go and fight the Looney Tunes and conquer their world. Obviously, the sequel wasn't going to go and do that again. That would be rude. So instead, they're having Algorithm go and create his own squad of unique players called the Goon Squad. Now, aside from not being aliens, the other key difference here is that they're much more monster-like in how they look, because the monsters, as they were known, were at least humanoid in form but had jacked up bodies based on the powers they stole from the NBA players. But here, we see some forms that were very monstrous in their look, such as one who had bird wings, one who has spider appendages, one who doesn't have legs at all, and so on and so forth. These characters are very much likely the NBA players and WNBA players who were brought in to help shoot the film with LeBron, very much a callback to the original Space Jam. So it'll be interesting to see if they get any personalities or if they're just meant to be foes.
The Goon Squad!
5. Toon World. After Algorithm meets LeBron, he has his assistant dump him with the rejects, which goes and lands him in Looney Tunes land, upon which LeBron James is for some reason turned into a cartoon character. We'll just roll with it for now. Anyway, it's here that we get to see the Looney Tunes back in action, not to be confused with Looney Tunes Back in Action, which is a movie that shouldn't be discussed. Ever. Naturally, Bugs is wanting to bring back the Toon Squad, but LeBron apparently has other ideas, and we can all see how that goes for him. What really is important to note here is the visual style of Looney Tunes, because if you can't tell, that's the OG style, very much the style that they used in the original Space Jam. Why does that matter? Well, ever since Space Jam, they've had not one but 2 visual reboots of the Looney Tunes, one on Cartoon Network and one on HBO Max, and they could have easily gone with those styles. But instead they went with a more classic version, or at least for a time.
What's up, Doc?
4. 3D transformation. Because once the Toon Squad is rebuilt, They get to Algae Rhythm's court for the Space Jam, and he decides to level the playing field in a way by making them 3D. LeBron obviously goes and returns to his regular form, and the Looney Tunes get a 3D makeover of sorts. Thankfully, it's not as jarring and realistic as it could have been, and they definitely worked out to maintain their Looney style, but you can also tell certain things that make them feel more real, such as with the hairs on the fur of Bugs or the mustache of Yosemite Sam. There's gonna be a lot to marvel over visually, and that's definitely something that fans noticed as they looked at the crowd.
Classic.
3. Ready Space Player Jam. So yeah, one thing that very much became apparent as the trailer went on is that Space Jam is absolutely going for a Ready Player One feel in terms of who shows up in the world that Warner Brothers has in its server room. Confused? Well, the movie Ready Player One, directed by Steven Spielberg, was a film set in a world where a massive virtual reality space was there for people to inhabit, and they could make their virtual avatars anything they wanted. Part of the fun of the movie was pointing out all of the characters that were from movies, TV shows, video games, so on. Well, that's what Space Jam 2 is going for, clearly, because when LeBron James is going to Toon World, he drops by other planets that happen to host other properties owned by WB. We see Game of Thrones, for example, but we also see the Flintstones, Scooby-Doo, the Iron Giant, King Kong, and more. Heck, there was even a Clockwork Orange cameo, which is absolutely not a reference that should have been made in a kids movie, but then again, neither should have Game of Thrones, just saying. This is honestly something that fans are worried about because while the first movie was honestly about the Looney Tunes, Space Jam: A New Legacy seems to be more about showing off the various characters in the WB roster. We're apparently gonna get cameos from Batman, Pennywise the Clown from It, and more, and that's questionable in content. 2. The D-Wade pose. A somewhat blink and you'll miss it moment comes from Lola Bunny, who makes her return once more to the world via this movie. She was in the Looney Tunes show on Cartoon Network, for the record, as well as Baby Looney Tunes. If you didn't hear, she's gonna be voiced by Zendaya, who can do no wrong, seriously, and in one shot, we see her doing a kind of showing off pose. That pose is a reference to one of LeBron James' best friends, Dwayne Wade, the man who helped LeBron get his first 2 titles in Miami with the Heat. Wade was known to do that pose when making big shots, and we're not surprised that LeBron had that put in.
Classic.
1. Video game on. Finally, and arguably most importantly, we see shots from the game of basketball itself, and it's very clear that the movie is taking a video game style to how the game will be played. We see LeBron get a major boost in altitude to try and make a dunk, a virtual wall stop him, references to high scores, and even the look of the court has a very virtual basketball feel to it. How will this affect how the game is played? A lot, apparently. But to how far it'll go is unclear, and we'll just have to watch and see how fair the game is. So, what do you think? What do you think of this look at Space Jam 2, aka Space Jam: A New Legacy? And all the things that you might have missed in the trailer. What do you think of Space Jam 2 yourself? Do you think it'll be a good movie? Or do you think it'll bang off the rim when it arrives in July? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.